So we were looking at, is it possible to have a cascading effect, if you will, move engineering and community development to the 4th Street facility, leaving the Mann building empty and allow it to be repurposed for some other facilities, namely information systems and maybe some other operations. We were able to find out that the Mann building was not structurally unsound. We had a structural engineering firm take a look at it. They determined that the cracking in the building was superficial, so it could be reconfigured on the interior at a fairly reasonable cost, and the exterior could be resurfaced in order to serve the city's needs for years to come. So this is just going through the same thing that I just talked about. I should have skipped ahead of a slide. This is the conceptual design by Associated Architects. This is Jackson Street. This is 4th Street. So you have engineering on this side of the building. This is the corner, which you see police station out here, and the flagpole is here. This is where the old entrance to the facility was. Back when it was J&J Glass, years and years ago, before the city obtained it. Right now, there are issues with the only ADA access is back along Jackson Street here. If you want to gain ADA access to the police station now, you need to go through this secondary entrance here. The 4th Street entrance is up steps. There is the lobby entrance, and then there is the police officer entrance. So we could be reconfigured in this way, allow ADA access, and be reconfigured inside to meet the needs of engineering and community development. So what is the cost of these projects? As you recall, the initial proposal was a $10 million bond issue. We've updated the numbers. You saw on the first discussion in 2015 was about $5.5 million for a police services facility. That is inflated. As you know from city projects, we've seen an increase over the last year to 2 years, increases of 15 to 25, 30% because of the market. So we've re-estimated that at just shy of $7 million for a new police facility. 4th Street renovation would be about $1.4 million. That would renovate it for use by engineering and community development. The Mann building, fortunately, is the cheapest part of this because it is structurally sound, and the interior would be used for offices, which it is used for today, and also some additional record storage for City Hall. It can be renovated fairly cheaply. So the proposed bond issue, as proposed, would be about $8.5 million. So, as the mayor indicated in a press release last week, council had authorized us to move ahead in the fiscal year 2018 budget to again move forward with the bond issue addressing those facilities' needs. In that period of time, the reason for the first delay from fiscal year 17 to fiscal year 18 was because of the potential for working with Gritman on the federal building. That fell through, so we fell back, worked on the original proposal. As we worked toward the recycling center site, it became apparent that we weren't going to be able to complete the recycling center and sanitation master plan, strategic plan, in the period of time prior to a bond election. And it was felt and recommended that with the 66 2/3% that is necessary for a general obligation bond passage, that any questions regarding the recycling center had best be addressed prior to moving ahead. So the proposal that we are recommending, and we will get there in just a moment with a schedule, we're recommending that council again ask or direct us to proceed in the FY 2019 budget while we are proposing to move forward with the sanitation strategic plan. So the new proposed project timeline, May 19 would be the bond election, and then you can see, as I said, the cascading projects moving down from there. Police services design in 2019, bid in spring of 2020, construction about a year from spring 2020 to spring 2021. Occupancy in the summer of 2021. We would be working on the 4th Street renovation prior to the police moving into the new facility, and then 4th Street renovation, occupancy, man building after that. So in the summer of 2022, should this be approved and we're able to move forward, we should have the complete renovation and reoccupancy, repurposing, construction of a new police station completed. So our recommendation at this time is that staff direct us to, in the FY 2019 budget, hold a May 2019 GO bond measure in the approximate amount of $8.5 million. In the meantime, we will complete the sanitation assessment and master planning process, including public outreach, so that we can not only determine what services the community wants out of their recycling center, but also determine an optimal way to deliver those services. Secondly, we will continue to refine the conceptual plans and construction cost estimates, so at the time we're able to develop a budget and proceed with the bond election, we have good, accurate numbers. We believe we have those today, but again, we're talking a year down the road. We will include the appropriations for the bond proposal and the recycling center proposal both in the FY 2019 budget. They will be estimates, and of course the council can direct us up or down from there, and hopefully we'll have recommendations ready to bring to you in the FY 2019 budget, and that we will bring the final proposed facilities package to you for your review and approval in the fall of 2018 in anticipation of that May 2019 general obligation bond election. Now, as an adjunct to that, we will also be bringing you forward the results of the sanitation comprehensive planning, strategic planning concept. So if it is possible to move the recycling center, if a location has been determined at that time, we will bring that forward as well. We also believe that given the additional time, we'll be able to answer more questions that we expect the public will have, not just for the recycling center, but also to look at the needs that the city has. The police station has long been a goal of the city council for, well, as long as I've been here, 26 years. The police station, from the time City Hall moved out of that facility, the police took it over. I believe it was about 1995. It has been inadequate and it's in a poor location. So this is the time to move it forward. We believe that it will give us additional time to outreach to the public and have them come tour the police station, bring that information forward so that the public can be well informed prior to the bond election occurring. Secondly, looking at the space configurations and inadequate space of the man building and some of the other city operations. So it's our recommendation to the council that with this direction, we believe we can put together a good bond election proposal and sanitation strategic plan in time for that bond election in May of 2019.
Thank you, Gary. Questions for Gary? Ann?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Could you go back to the projected timeline, please, Gary?
There you go.
Are there just too many unknowns then to put the recycling center into this at this time?
No. This was having to do with the bond election itself. So these were all bond projects. The recycling center not being a bond project but yet joined at the hip is something that we can address in our normal budget process. Sure. So that's why we didn't place it up here. In addition, depending upon the information that we glean from the surveys, it may fall anywhere within the front end of this timeline. Obviously, there couldn't be anything happening on the recycling center site until those operations were moved anyway.
It ties in with that sanitation master plan, Ann.
Great.
And as
Yeah,
Tim
and we
indicated,
don't have that identified right now.
yeah, as Tim indicated, that should be done by this fall,
don't
so we
know.
should have that answer by then.
And I have a question for you and Chief Fry about, do you see the force increasing with this? What kind of changes do you see internally with the police department? With the change in the building, or?
I don't necessarily see the force increasing unless
Oh,
Yeah, if you look at the facilities master plan, the facilities master plan takes into account the probable growth of the city. And so as it goes by population, depending upon that, the growth of the city, so would the estimates of increased staff for not only the police department, but other city departments as well. So it's not anticipated just moving to that facility alone with no change in population or any of the other demographics would require additional staff at this point.
okay, thank you.
Brandy?
Would the estimated 8.5 million, the wording of that cover the fact that we're talking about a year later and the estimates might be more at that time?
Yes, what we're looking for is direction tonight.
Got it.
As I indicated in the recommendation, we will continue to refine numbers, tighten those up as much as we can. So by the time we request appropriation, that the council will have a pretty hard number to go by. And again, it's just like our public works projects. Give you the best estimate we can, but until we get the bids in, we're not really sure if they're good estimates or not. We've tried to build as much flexibility and some contingencies into these numbers, so we're not surprised.
Could very easily be closer to the 10 million that we
That's what, I mean, and we
originally
can
talked
go,
about,
yep, right,
Brandy.
yep, that's what I was,
We're
I wouldn't
certainly
want to.
hoping not, but we'll have numbers for you.
And I suppose there could be possibilities of unforeseen things that led up to some things originally that were thought would be sought after in the bond that now have been covered in other unforeseen ways. I mean, that's not going to happen with the police station, I don't think, but, you know, between now and then, perhaps we have some nice surprises that could change exactly what the amount that we're seeking in the bond.
Certainly.
I just want to be sure that flexibility is there, that's all. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I move to direct staff, do you have a question? Sorry.
I do have one
Okay,
question. I don't know if you happen to know this, or Tim, is there a question about composting, curbside composting in the survey that's upcoming?
Certainly could be. We are talking about perhaps including some questions about yard clippings, if for lack of a better term, or curbside collection of plant materials. There's some discussion of what that would look like, but certainly we'll try and find out all of those services, what we will put out there for the survey.
One of the things, Ann, we do not know what we're going to do with that right now. And so that's a big thing for people. They can take their grass clippings and their, leaves in the fall and that sort of thing. It's one of the balls that's up in the air right now.
Yeah, if I may too, just so there's no confusion, the sanitation strategic plan is about the entire sanitation system. Recycling is merely one piece of that.
Yep.
So,
It's
but
part
it's
of it.
one that it will be front burnered and it will be the subject of a large part of the public process. Did you have another specific question for
No,
Tim?
that was it, thank you.
If I,
Go ahead, Kathy.
so just so you know, Ann, Tim and I have talked, and composting has come up, and he let me know that he has going to have certain questions on the survey, because I had asked him about all the compost that you can get from Latah Sanitation that's free to get it into town, and he was like, yes, I want to do something with it. So I think they're crafting questions to find out all the possible uses for what our community is interested in doing.
If I may, again, one of the things in the sanitation system that the current composting program that we have out at Latah Sanitation is one that wasn't in effect when we started the franchise in 1993. It was a pilot program. We used to ship our biosolids to Lewiston. We're now working with LSI, cut down on the distance, the time, that sort of thing. So that just shows the flexibility of the sanitation system and how it has progressed over the years.
Well, lots have changed over 25 years.
Yeah, Tim's done a great job with it.
Okay.
All right, I move to direct staff to reschedule the public facilities bond election authorized at the November 20th, 2017 City Council meeting from May 2018 to May 2019.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion by Catherine and a second by Gina to direct staff to reschedule the public facilities bond election authorized at November 2017 City Council meeting from May of 2018 to May of 2019. Start the roll, Brandy.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
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 Okay, consider it moved.
Thank you.